Welcome back to another video, guys. In this one, I'm going to be getting my Honda running. So if you're probably watching this video, your Honda is as well not running. So let me help you get your Honda running. Little disclaimer, if you're having a no crank issue with your four-wheeler and you can pull start it and it runs just fine, this is not the video for you. I have one linked in the description for a Honda Rancher where I run through the battery, solenoid, and starter system of it and testing all the components and finding out what's wrong, which ended up being a starter on that one. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. Go down in the description, watch that one. This one's for if when you try and pull start it, it won't even start. This is gonna run you through the more mechanical side of things of why your engine's not working. So let's continue on with the video. Right here, I have a 2006 Honda Rancher ES, and this thing currently doesn't run, but nice thing about these kind of engines is there's 4 simple things to make them run, and it's pretty easy to find out which one is wrong and quick to fix. So let's come over here to our list. Our list consists of 4 things. We need to test for spark, fuel, air, and compression. I'm gonna get this one out of the way because this is the quickest and easiest one to check, is air. If your engine isn't getting air into the cylinder, it ain't gonna run. So that could be caused by a mouse nest or something in the airbox, which could be common because of them and where they're stored in barns and in sheds. So make sure you don't have a mouse nest or anything clogging up your inlet to your carburetor and suffocating your engine of air. So as you can see there, I don't even have my carb on, so air can easily get into this motor. So yeah, let's check that off the list, which I've already done. It could be a mouse nest, so make sure you don't have anything clogging the airway into your engine. Now the next easiest one to check is spark. So let's go over there and check this four-wheeler for spark to see what we got. So right over here, I got my spark plug. I've taken the boot off already. So, and for video purposes, I have this quick little tester right here that'll help you guys easily see the spark. I'm gonna go ahead and pull start it, and you should see spark inside that cylinder. So as you guys saw, it was sparking right in there. And that means that we're getting spark, at least to the spark plug. So that is just a quick test. So what we verified there with that test is from the plug wire back, we're getting spark. We still don't know about the spark plug. So what we need to do is remove this spark plug and do the same test, but have it inside this boot and have it up against the engine. If we're getting spark at the end of the spark plug, we're good. I don't know if you guys are gonna fall or not, but don't be surprised if you do. I have it set up, and let's see if she has spark. I have to watch the footage back to see if it sparked. After watching that video back, we did indeed have spark. And it was sparking good. So although the spark plug doesn't look great, it works perfectly fine. So it will definitely make the engine start. But now that we verified that we have spark, I want to talk about some things if you didn't have spark. So if you didn't have spark, we're going to start the spark plug. So say you had spark with this thing, but then you took the spark plug out and you didn't have spark at the spark plug. That could be because this gap right here, if that piece of metal is touching the spark plug end, it is not going to spark. So make sure that it has a gap like that, and you can look up your specified gap and gap it with a spark plug gapper if needed. Another reason why it won't be sparking is because this porcelain can crack, and if it's cracked, it won't spark. So make sure there's no cracks in the porcelain. And then the final thing, which is honestly the most common, these spark plugs, when they get really black like this, instead of sparking across that gap right there, they'll actually spark down the porcelain right there in the middle, which this porcelain is black right there in the middle, but it's supposed to be white. And so it will actually just spark through the carbon buildup. So if that's the case, sandblast or clean these off with a wire brush and see if it starts working again. Or they're really cheap, you should just replace it. But if your spark plug looks fine and you weren't getting spark to this, the first thing that could be bad, we're going to start from spark plug back, is check your plug wire connections. Make sure that the connections are tight inside these plug wires. And if that's okay, the next thing back in your system is the coil. Check your coil, make sure it's sparking good at your coil, make sure you got good voltage to your coil. And then if your coil's good, the thing farthest back is the CDI box, I'm pretty sure on these, or some four-wheelers like Polaris, they have even then a computer afterwards. So that will be the next thing. Those are less common, but I mean, if you do process of elimination, you replace your spark plug, plug wire and coil, and it's still not working, most likely, yes, it is your CDI box. So that is the rundown on spark and how to check it and the components that could be bad in there. So right here, we can check off spark. And then I wrote a list of things: spark plug, plug wire, coil, CDI box. And then along there, don't forget, there could maybe be some damage with a wiring harness in this scenario when it comes to the plug connections on these two. So make sure you're checking your wiring harness, make sure there's no chewed wires or corroded wires anywhere. While we have the spark plug out, this is a great time to test for compression. When it comes to compression testers, I got a few different options, which is awesome. I got anywhere from your cheapest Pittsburgh Harbor Freight compression tester to a more digital, kind of newer style compression tester, to then top of the line, can't get any better than this, a snap-on compression tester. So I'm gonna be doing a reading from all three of these because I'm honestly curious, because I recently just got this one and I feel like this one's never read right, and this one reads all right. This one's not bad. This is from Amazon. So I'm gonna do a quick compression test on the engine. Time to see what the snap-on one says. We have 110 PSI. That's plenty to give us a good running engine. Normally the spec right here is 90. If you're below 90, your engine most likely is just gonna have a hard time running or not run at all. And if it's above 90, you'll be able to get it running. 90 isn't great though, but we are good. So we can move on the fuel. But if you're having issues with your compression reading, definitely verify you have a good compression tester, good crimp connections on your tester as well, because you can get low readings due to those. So as you saw with the test of those three compression testers, we've guaranteed that they all give good readings. Just note, cheaper ones like this with those cheap crimps versus like this is still a cheaper one, but it has a nicer crimp on it. They will give you inaccurate readings. This one's bad. I don't use this connection. I use this one for these two, but the snap-on one, its connector doesn't adapt with these ones. It uses a better system, and its crimp is really good, as well as back here the crimps are way bigger on these attachments, so you have really good connections on these snap-on ones. So that's the difference between an expensive compression tester and these ones. So if you're getting really poor readings, verify it's not just a cheap connection like this, because I've marked this one bad and I don't use it anymore. But these gauges all read the same. But yeah, just as a watch out for when you get the cheaper compression testers, the crimps are bad. And if you verified all that's good, look into where you're losing your compression, whether that's worn out rings or you got broken valves in these engines. You can do that by seeing if you have pressure coming out the exhaust with maybe a glove, or you can do it on the intake side as well as rings. Try putting some oil in the cylinder and seeing if you get a higher reading. If so, that indicates that your rings could be a little worn. But yeah, most likely you're gonna need some engine work and a new top end. So yeah, that's not good. Hopefully you guys aren't experiencing that. That's gonna leave us with fuel. Right there, as you can see, I got my carburetor off, so I'm just gonna spray some starter fluid right into the cylinder. If your carburetor's on, which most likely it is, just spray some fuel into the carburetor through this air box right here, and that will do the same thing. So let me give her some starting juice, and let's pull start this thing. We got some starter fluid down in the engine. Key is turned on. We have spark, we have compression, and we have air. So it essentially should run. Let's see what happens. So now we know we got fuel. So let's fire her up. So as you can see, it fired right up with a little bit of starter fluid into the engine, meaning that we have a good running Honda here, but the issue we're having with this one was a fuel supply issue, and that was because our carburetor was all gummed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean out this carburetor and throw it back on. I will link a video to me cleaning out a carburetor on a Polaris Sportsman. So if you guys are wondering how to clean out a carburetor, go down in the description and watch that video. I show you kind of all the key components inside the carburetors and what you need to look for and what you need to clean so that you can get your four-wheeler up and running real good again. And yeah, I hope this video kind of helped you understand your four-wheeler a little bit better and what you need to look for when it comes to the issues of what may be causing your four-wheeler not to run. For me, I have a fuel issue. For you, it could have been one of the other things. For the fuel issue as well, verify that you have good gas, not bad gas. You're getting gas from the tank to the carburetor, and if you're getting it to the carburetor but not into the engine and it's starting off this starter fluid, definitely go through and clean your carburetor. The video is linked down below. And yeah, just like that, we're gonna have this Honda up and running in no time. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.